Hi everybody, welcome back to another full self-driving beta video. My name is John and I live in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and I've been testing full self-driving beta since October 24th, 2021. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Today's video is covering version 11.3.6, which I received the day before Easter. So this was on Saturday that I filmed this. I went straight out to test it out in Portage, Michigan. I happened to be in Michigan for that weekend. And I'm taking the car right now to pick up some Chinese food after stopping by the supercharger. And I wanted to point out this situation that it comes up. So this has happened multiple times on the version 11 stack, where it will miss the exit, it will miss turns. It seems to kind of have a delayed reaction sometimes. And at first I thought it had to do with maybe low connectivity or poor cellular connectivity, or maybe the GPS location. But I don't think that's the case after observing a lot of these situations. My screen, unfortunately, is quite blurry. I had a little bit of an issue recording the screen here, but this covers the situation really, really nicely. It's supposed to be coming up here and turning right, and you can see that indicated on the top. It comes up here to this intersection and slows down. The light turns green. Right after this intersection, you can see 400 feet from here, 300 feet now. It needs to turn right into the parking lot. Now watch the tentacle. You can see it's trying to go in there. It's going, and then this is where it needs to go, right in here. It needs to go in there, and it just doesn't. It slows down enough, and then it gets awkward, so I need to step on the accelerator to get it to continue going. And at that point, I take over entirely. So I park it here, I run in and grab my food, and then I come back out. Now my screen is working a little bit better here. You can see more detail. And as I exit this parking lot, I'm wondering if it's ever going to be able to complete this next maneuver. Because if you look at it, I zoom in, it has to turn left and then immediately right. So this is like one of those moments where this is, in my mind, impossible. There's just no way that it would be able to do this. And I'm thinking that right now as I zoom in on the map. And I'm curious to find out, though. So I have it turned on, and it's creeping forward here. That car on the left is parked. So are the other cars. I scope out the area to see if I may have a parallel parking opportunity. Those are always fun for me to film. I don't come across too many opportunities where I can parallel park. Now look at this. As I come up to the intersection, or this area, the blue path is telling me that it can just like cut over there, and it starts to go. I have to disengage. I had to back up because it was about to just like cut across that. It would have been very, very illegal what it was about to try to do. And you can see the tentacle is still trying to go over there, even with all the traffic moving. Now, obviously it's not going to go because the cars passing in front of me are all blue, including that bus there. And when a vehicle is blue, that means it's yielding to them. It cannot go because something is in the way, and the object that's blue is in the way. Not all the time is it in the way. If a traffic light above turns blue, that means it applies to you. So it's interesting, their choice of using the blue color. But here it starts to creep forward. It's almost as if it wants to find a gap and then just gun it and go straight through. Now, technically, what you're supposed to do here is get into one of those lanes on the far side and then execute the turn. You can't just cut across that way. Now, there should be a no turn sign here saying you cannot turn left. Really, this is kind of I'm kind of setting it up to fail to begin with, because this is a really kind of odd situation. I don't know that I would ever really try to do this. I mean, if my GPS was telling me I could go this way, I'd probably dial it in and I'd get here and I'd be like, I mean, it is possible, but it requires quite a bit of finesse. So the left turn signal's on, and it looks again to me like it's going to try to cut through. It keeps creeping. I'm keeping a very close eye on it. My foot is hovering over the brake pedal at this point. that car up there decides they're going to turn left, and then that blocks the path and prevents my car from trying to go a little bit further. So that actually helped stop my car, I believe. And you can see the cars creeping forward there. And I'm thinking to myself at this point, this is going to be really, really difficult. And not only is it going to be difficult, but it's going to take me a long time to get out of here, because I just don't see it happening unless it tries to skip through here. But it appears to be attempting to do that. Now the traffic's moving, so I'm like, okay, good. The car's not going to go. So if there's cars moving, generally speaking, you can trust that Beta is not going to try to dart in front of other cars. However, in the later clips here that I show, when I tested it further on Monday, I believe, I did encounter a situation where it darted in front of faster moving cars. And I've seen some people on Twitter commenting that this is a problem with version 11.3.6. I think also with 11.3.4. When the car pulls out into a situation that is dangerous, maybe faster moving traffic or trying to turn left, instead of proceeding forward immediately after it puts itself in a undesirable situation, in other words, it's in the way, the car stops or it slows down, and that remains an issue. I'm not sure why it does that, but it has a tendency to clog up traffic when it makes sudden moves. And oftentimes, that sudden move is the wrong move, and you have to back out of it. And I do have that documented in several situations. So here I give up entirely, and I say, okay, here's the gap. This is what I need to do. I'm going to go do it manually. So getting around those cars was, for me, something I needed to do to get out of there. Otherwise, I would have been waiting there forever. I mean, who knows how long it would have taken for it to figure it out. And to be quite honest with you, if it had figured it out, it probably would have done the wrong thing. All right, so my next test is here in Hoffman Estates, which is near Schaumburg, Illinois, in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. I'm taking my car. I'm trying a different camera setup. I'm interested to hear your feedback here. The previous 2 times I had tested this, traffic came up behind me, and I had to abort and drive manually to get back here. But take a look at this. It needs to turn right and then immediately go left, and it has to cut across multiple lanes of traffic. So here my car comes out, and look at all those cars coming. It starts to go, and it slowed down, or it was jutting out and then not really going quickly enough. So it really freaked me out. I had to put it in reverse, back up, and then in the process, someone comes up behind me. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to play games when other people are waiting. So I go back to the same spot. Again, this is a very challenging part, a challenging maneuver, even as a human driver. So here we are at the stop sign. Look at the tentacle. It's wrapping around. Now it's showing the right path here. And you can see the creep zone in the middle. It's waiting. This is the gap it needs to take. And it starts going out. Someone was right behind me. It comes here. Instead of stopping in the creep zone, it determined really quickly that there was space, so it went out. Now it changes lanes. The light turns to yellow. It changes lanes again and makes it over just in time to turn right here. I thought that was fantastic. Now, that was 1 out of 4 times that I tried. 2 of those times I had people come up behind me and I had to abort. That last one that you saw prior to this was the kind of failure. Overall, I haven't noticed any significant changes with 11.3.6. It seems to be a little bit more hesitant. On the highway, I had the same experiences. It didn't get out of the passing lane. Merges are still awkward. Still need to increase the speed. I really didn't notice any differences on the highway, and that was driving about 180 miles on the highway, and that was in Michigan, going from Michigan to Illinois. I didn't see or experience any differences. And then in the city streets, even though I've put maybe 40 to 50 miles on the city streets, I'm seeing similar behavior as before. I'm not noticing anything significant, and there was nothing in the release notes that indicated anything had changed. We just have to believe it was some bug fixes, and even at that, we don't have any idea what was fixed. In general, it's still making mistakes. I mean, I'm not expecting it to be perfect, but at the same time, I am expecting to see some progress here, and I really haven't. I mean, the team's releasing updates every week, which is fantastic. I think that's awesome. I just wish there was a little bit more transparency with the testers that are putting in the time to go over this. Now, if I wasn't receiving the versions quickly, and if I also wasn't hosting my own YouTube channel, and if I also wasn't a geek and got all interested in this type of stuff, I definitely would not be using it. It just doesn't make sense. It's not practical, at least not today. I think it is coming, though. I think that day will come. We'll be very excited in the future. I can almost guarantee it when we have this software that's readily accessible, and hopefully the price comes down. But it's functional. That's the day that I'm really looking forward to. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I appreciate your time as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Technically, I won't see you. You will see me. But that's Dirty Tesla's line. That's Chris. That's all Chris. So I'm just going to say I will see you in the comments in the next video and this video. I reply to every comment. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.